is Sally Traore Uwalaka, and welcome back to my channel for another edition of crucial information you need as part of your residency journey process. As I said, I'm Sally Traore Uwalaka. I am the founder of ResiPrep 360, a program that focuses exclusively on pharmacy residency prospective candidates and helping you to craft a personalized plan to maximize your success at phase one of the match. Today's video is really trying to paint a picture for you so you can understand the landscape of residency application process. We are going to talk a little bit about numbers today and what those numbers mean to you as you begin strategizing around what's going to be your game plan and how you are going to successfully craft and execute a plan that is personalized just to you. On the topic of personalization, I want to make sure that I say this. No two residency candidates' journey through this process is identical. So focusing on what other people are doing and how that's working for them may not be the most effective use of your time. You really want to make sure that you are doing the research necessary, connecting with the individuals who you need to connect with in order to make sure that the plan that unfolds is the one that you have spent time and energy working on developing. And because you know yourself, your strengths, your areas of opportunity for growth, you know exactly how to go about executing this. And today, we are focusing on the numbers of the match to help us really understand how competitive is the match, because all people tell you is the match is very competitive. Getting a residency is hard and it's very competitive. If you're anything like me, I love talking about numbers because numbers remove emotion out of a conversation and forces us to make some objective decisions because, men lie, women lie. Numbers do not lie. And so that's what the goal of this presentation is today. And what we'll see here is that many people have no idea that programs just like them enter the match. Yes, they do. The program, just like you, sign up for, enter, and submit ranks for the match. So it's not this one-sided process that many of us have been led to believe in, that we are the one who want the position so badly and the programs they couldn't care less. Guess what? The program enters the match and they're also working extremely hard as a group, as a team. They have an entire committee that they put together to help with every match season to make sure that the candidates that they select and the candidates that end up coming to them is a great fit for their institution. And so what the numbers tell us is that in 2024, there were about 1,500 residency programs in the country. And the thing you have to understand about this is these are programs that are accredited through ASHP, and they are programs only accredited through ASHP. There are programs that are not accredited through ASHP, and ACCP is really the best database that you can go to if you're trying to look globally at everything that is possible. It's not going to be ASHP. ASHP's database is only going to have information for you about programs that are accredited. I wanted to make that clear for you. The next thing is those 1,500 programs, they're offering 4,255 positions. So you may be wondering, how can 1,500, roughly 1,600 programs offer almost like 4,300 positions? Well, as you may already know, some residency programs have more than one position. Some residency programs have 3 positions, 4 positions, some have 7. I went to one that has 7 PGY1 positions. I interviewed at one that had 14 PGY1 positions. They can get very big, they can get very large. And so the number of programs can definitely be under the number of positions offered. And I'll talk a little bit with you about what the number of positions offered and how that helps you with your strategic planning. Rank submitted. So those 1,500 programs, they ended up submitting about 18,581 ranks. Programs are submitting a lot of ranks. And back to the point I was making, that they want to match. They really, really want to match. Like, they don't want to do phase 2, just like you don't want to do phase 2. So they're making sure that they're selecting the proper candidates for interviews and interviewing as many candidates as they can that are a fit for them, so that they have options. I mean, a lot of options. That's exhibited by this number right here that tells us about the average number of rankings that were submitted. So basically, for every position a residency program had on average, they submitted 5 ranks. I hope that makes sense to you, because if it doesn't, I'm happy to explain, right? What this means is, for a residency program that has 3 positions, they may interview maybe 20 or 25 candidates, but of those 20 and 25 candidates, for every one of those positions, they submitted 5 people in the rank for each position they have. Mathematically, that means that of the 25 people interviewed, they probably ranked, on average, they ranked 15 candidates in a program that only has 3 positions. That is how stiff the competition is. And this is extremely important for you as you also begin to think about and strategize around how many programs do I need to apply to in order to make sure that I get out of the match at phase 1. Because these are what the numbers tell us. And these are numbers directly from the 2024 ASHP match statistics. But this is what the numbers tell us. The next thing we know is they rank about 5,000, almost 5,000, at least 5,000 program ranked at least one person. The biggest and most telling number to me in all of the statistics that are reported on programs, the most telling is this right here. The fact that for every position, 5 candidates are submitted for that position. That tells you that when you are interviewing, you're not interviewing for a rank anymore. That's what the interview is for. You're interviewing to be selected and amongst their top 5 candidates for each place. Okay? That's the first thing. So we've talked about the programs. Let's talk about numbers when it comes to candidates, because we're learning a lot about matched candidates as well. We're learning that there are about 5,457 applicants that entered the match. Do you guys remember how many positions that were offered? Only about 4,200 positions were offered. But for those 4,200 positions, we had about almost 5,500 candidates that entered the match. Of those 5,500, 701 withdrew from the match. This is not uncommon. This has been going on year after year, where people go to interviews and maybe they feel like I made a mistake with the programs I picked because none of these programs seem like they're a good fit for me. I think I'm okay. I'm going to pass. So they withdraw from the match. Other people, life events happen. Life events like they find out that they're expecting, or perhaps a parent is sick. They themselves are sick, and they don't think that residency is going to be something that they can balance with the responsibilities of having to take care of themselves or take care of their family, or a spouse is ill. Something life. The thing that many candidates forget as they're going through this process is that life doesn't stop lifing on the side of you while you're going through this process. Life is also doing its own thing. So at any point during this process, something big could happen that'll force you to reconsider if it's the right time for this or not. And so that explains why candidates drop out of the match. Check out the number of ranks submitted by candidates: 21,749. Remember, the program submitted about 18,000, but candidates are ranking more than programs are. And this essentially really just means that candidates are getting wiser and they're understanding that the match is a statistics game in a lot of ways. The more ranks you have to submit, the better your chances that you'll get out at phase one. And then the average ranking submitted by applicant is 5. This pretty much goes hand in hand with the program, right? Except with residents, with candidates, they're submitting a little bit more than five ranks. Excuse me, can't speak. They're submitting a little bit more than 5 ranks, and 3,530 people match. That puts us at a match last year of about 82.9%. This number is getting better. This is the good news. This number is getting better. It's been getting progressively better. I think the year before last, we were at about 70s. When I match was only about like 50 something percent. The year before, it was like 40 something percent. What's causing that, right? Like, what is causing match to suddenly improve? And we can hypothesize a lot about this, and we'll see in the next slide in a bit, because I'll talk about that. But the thing I want to talk to you at this juncture about is statistics and the importance of it as you plan for entering the match. You're going to see, we saw that programs are ranking on average 5 positions, 5 rankings. You, as a candidate, are submitting 5 ranks on average. It means to me that translates to me that if we looked at this statistically, your goal of interviews should be 5. 5 is the number. So if I need 5 interviews, and I'm going to prepare day and night to make sure that these 5 interviews are meaningful and that I impress and that I stand above the crowd, because that's what I have to do. If we know that, what can we do to maximize our chances beyond 5 so that we are really confident and comfortable with what could potentially happen at phase 1? We have to apply to more programs than 5. It's very rare that 100% of the programs you apply to, you will 100% get an interview. Very rare, right? So what I advise most candidates to do is this. If you need 5 programs, if you need 5 interviews to maximize your chance of getting out at phase 1, you should double or at least 2.5 times that number. This is how we are consistently seeing year after year that the number of candidates that are applying to, the number of programs candidates are applying to, has been somewhere around 12 to 15. 10 happens to be that really sweet spot for people that just want to double. But take ResiPrep, for example. Last year, I worked with a cohort of about 237. The average number of programs for people in my cohort last year, it was about 12. And of those 12, over 87% of them that received more than 8 interview offers applied to 12, right? So 12 for me, for people that enroll in my cohort to work with me, 12 tends to be a great number. But some candidates want to go for 15. Where I absolutely put my foot down is I tell them, if you are applying to 15 programs, I think something is wrong. You're not confident enough. You haven't thought about what you want well enough so you're just picking a little bit of everything to apply to, that could be problematic because that's a pitfall of match, applying to too many or too few. I wanted to talk about the numbers with you all today because I think that it gives perspective and helps us with that almighty question of how many programs is a good program, a good amount for me to apply to. And I think that when we look at the match results from last year, it tells us that 5 interviews is really the gold standard. At this point, I want to share something with you about ResiPrep. For the last 7 years that I've worked with candidates, I've studied these numbers consistently every year because it helps me strategize. And I recommend 10 to 12 because the goal is 5. But for my cohorts, most of them are matching. When I say most, I'm talking about the 96% of my cohorts that are matching at phase 1. They're matching with only 4 interview offers. And I think that that's because of my strategy around match and how I prepare them, the materials I give you, the resource I give you, the support I give you that is very personalized and not one size fits all. I'm able to look at you as a person and the experiences you've had, the experiences you have not had, to see how I can best personalize your game plan for you. And that way you go into a match as a completely different candidate and the caliber of candidate you are. So if that's the type of help that you're looking for, you want me on your team, you can email me or you can DM me. You can find me anywhere on social media, or you can just comment right here in this box below and comment match 25. And I will reach back out to you and we can begin our journey to helping you secure a match at phase 1. Please don't forget to subscribe and like for more content like this. We are officially in it now that it's November and things are going to move very quickly. And this is your premier destination for all things residency.